Well,
Man,
talk to it.
tell them about the birds. Tell them about the birds. What kind of birds you got?
Two cockatiels. I got a gangster named Pecker and a gangster named Blue. So,
Pecker and Blue.
A gangster named Pecker.
and a gangster named Blue. Yeah, boy and girl. Yeah.
Yeah, man, you know it's birds.
That's
They
slick.
tried to make an appearance on the show, but now they got quiet.
They got a
On
son
your
named,
shoulder. Do
and
they
they got
do
a
they say
they got
Polly
a
on the
son named.
cracker or something like that?
No, Pecker go nuts.
Cleveland, this is for you.
I want to see them on your shoulder. You feeding them.
Maybe another day, man. Maybe another day.
Hey, teach them to say the Browns suck.
Wait, aren't you a Dallas fan?
But they're gonna do
Oh
it
man,
anyway.
Oh yeah, can't.
he can't wait. He
Can't
can't wait till we get into that. He can't wait. But
And,
we ain't getting to
and
that
them
right
boys killed me too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh
too,
yeah.
man.
Oh yeah. Your bracket. Yeah.
Blew me out the water, man.
His bracket all messed up. My big tennis fans. Oh, you know what? BJ Granny will love this topic. You know she love her some tennis.
Oh, she love her some tennis. That's right.
She love her some tennis. So Novak Djokovic. So he was deported. His visa got revoked from Australia because he is unvaccinated, and a prime minister wasn't having it. Is this fair or foul? So after I read the article, so the Australian border. So if you are not from Australia, and you're trying to enter, you have to be fully vaccinated. So that's one thing they have going on up there. Or should I say down there, down under.
Down under.
But so Djokovic claimed that he had a medical exemption. Remind me of the Aaron Rodgers press conference. that was funny. But so yeah, he claimed he had a medical exemption, and they actually he filed an appeal. He was able to stay in Australia, but was suspended. Was able to stay there while the appeal was going on, but they still ultimately came to they took it to federal court, and they ruled that he basically you got to go. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get up out of here, bro. Which means he cannot compete in the Australian Open. So I think it's fair because that's Australia's rule, man. You got to be vaccinated. And the other issue that I had with it is he lied on his papers. He faxed in some papers and said that when he caught COVID back home, I don't know where he's from. I didn't research that part. Maybe one of you.
Belgrade.
Okay.
Serbia.
He caught COVID, and he told them when he filed his paperwork over that he isolated himself. BJ, fix your camera. He told them that he isolated, and he did not isolate. So he didn't take that time, that 7 or 10 days, and isolate. So he gave misinformation. So I don't think it's foul at all. He lied on the paperwork, and Australia already had that governed. So I think it's fair. You got to miss out, bro. Big C, take it away.
All right. So let me just add some fluff to what you just said, and I'll actually get the dates. So
Okay.
on November 19th, the Australia Open said that all players got to be vaccinated. So that
Okay.
was on November 19th.
Okay.
On January 4th, Djokovic said, "Hey, I got a medical exemption."
Right.
So here's where the problem came in. The
Okay.
Australia Open was just like, "Hey, good, you got an exemption. Come on,
Oh,
let's
for
rock
sure.
and roll." The country said, "Well, hold up. That doesn't mean you can come in just because they said so." That's just like the state of Nevada saying, "Hey, everybody's welcome." And the United States is like, "Well, wait a minute. No. You still in the United States. We trump what you're saying. So that's what happened. And he actually won his first appeal.
Right.
And then he had another one, and then the other one was just like, "Hey man, you got to go." So yeah. So they kicked him out. I wholeheartedly agree.
Wasn't it also because of the outrage coming from within the people that
Absolutely. The prime minister was just like, "Listen, man, we can't let you in with this exemption. Now everybody else gonna want one."
Exactly.
And if you know, Australia is one of the countries that got the lowest COVID rates, man. So yeah, the prime minister was like, nah. We don't want no problems, bro. We appreciate your 20 grand slams. You're nine down here. And technically, man, he was on pace to win another one. I didn't realize that he had won, what was it, 8 of the last 10 in Australia. So he was basically a lock, man, to win the thing.
Right.
And like you said, he filed some false information on his declaration page, his declaration papers when he came into the country. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was he was in France kicking it a few days before the tournament was supposed to kick off, and he didn't disclose that. So I didn't hear about the he had caught COVID and he had to isolate. Because he did when he first got to Australia, he did isolate for 4 days. But the prime minister was just like, "No, bro, you still got to go." So yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but it's the law. So yeah, hey man, we'll catch you in the French Open hopefully, because you got to be vaccinated to play in that now.
Yeah.
So he might miss that in April. So we'll see. We'll see if he get vaccinated. And then also, a lot of his sponsors, a lot of people are just like, "Yo, y'all need to leave this dude alone, pull his sponsorships. He shouldn't be making money off of this and that." And I'm like, come on, y'all can't do that to the guy. But, I understand if you don't want him in the country and if you got a law that say you got to be vaccinated, you got to be vaccinated.
All right, BJ.
Okay. The story that I heard was told was a little different than what y'all heard, but it was more of the U.S. Open and part of the Australian government who originally granted him a visa to come into the United States. So it was part of the government. I don't know which part. I can't remember getting all the details. But a part of the government said, "Yeah, you can come in." Australian Open said, "Yeah, you can come in. We'll accept your exemption." That's what it was really about. We'll accept your exemption. The exemption was, I got COVID, and so I should be exempt because, similar to the Aaron Rodgers, I'm naturally immune because I already caught it. And so that was his medical exemption. Eventually, the prime minister did come in and was like, "Yeah, nah, we're not taking that," and kind of yanked it. And so the question of is it fair or foul? Absolutely, it's fair. But what was the foul part was he should have never been granted that to begin with. The part of the government that said it was okay, knowing that exemption was kind of sort of like, what do you call it, towing the line. Like, what kind of exemption is that to say I'm naturally immune so I can come into the country? If that's the case, it's going to be a whole lot of unvaccinated people who had COVID who can come into the country, and that's not what the country wants. So it's a double-edged sword. A, you screwed yourself. You should have never said yes in the first place. You should have just never granted him the visa. He wouldn't have gotten over there, been able to sit there and play or practice for 10 days or however long he was there. And then you at the last minute, you say, well, not at the last minute, after he went through his appeals, you're like, all right, beat it. You got to go. So that's why I say on their part, it was a little foul, because just say no from the beginning. No, don't come here unless you have a real medical exemption, which you did not. So that's why I say a little bit foul on Australia. Definitely fair. You don't have to. That's the rules. He may even not be able to participate in the U.S. Open because we got rules, the same rules. Got to be vaccinated if you want to come into this country. So who knows? My answer, a little bit of both, but mostly fair for Australia. Yes, it was fair.
Hold on. Let me say this real quick. So, yeah, B, I think he got the medical exemption. I don't think he got the medical exemption from the country. he got the medical exemption from the Open. The Open said, "Yeah, come on, you're good. We'll give you a medical exemption." And they want him there because they know he's making money for them.
Right.
So yeah, they're like,
no. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The government accepted that exemption. They're the only ones who can get the visa. The visa has to come approved from the government.
But they did not. But that's the and that's
the government has to.
But here's the thing. No. And that's why he was deported. Because the government didn't approve it.
No. Okay, so listen, this is what happened. He had a visa. The prime minister revoked it. And that's when he appealed, like, yo, why are you revoking my visa? I was approved. And the prime minister said, yeah, no, I'm revoking this because you're not vaccinated and your exemption is not a legitimate exemption. So that's why he had the visa. The visa was revoked. And that's what I'm getting at. It wasn't like they never granted him the visa. He wouldn't have been able to step foot on the land. When
did he get that visa?
Back when you said back in November.
And when did they change the rule? No. I didn't say
no. I think it was around that time frame. He got to apply for all this stuff in advance. So
absolutely you do. But here's my thing though, B. So we need to know when he got approved for the visa, because on November 19th, that's when they said, hey, if you are playing in the Open, you got to be vaccinated. So we need to find out when he got his visa.
Okay, I don't know if it was that date, but at some point he got the visa to come to the country.
Right, but I'm just saying, but it could have possibly been before.
Okay, it wasn't like the visa wasn't approved. He had it, and they snatched it from him.
Yeah, right, but it could have been approved before the 19th when they put into play this whole vaccination for anybody that's playing in the Open.
Right,
that's all I'm saying.
I agree with that.
Okay. Yeah. If he got approved and got his visa back in October, then okay. Then you got a legitimate claim. I mean, you got a legitimate claim. But if he got it after the fact, then yeah, you got a legitimate claim. And then we got a problem.